Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is with a sense of utmost pride in the constabulary of our friendly little dictatorship to the north that I bring you today's incredible story. This is a tale that will no doubt be written up in song one day once enough time has passed for it to pass from news story down into legend. But in the meantime, let's celebrate it ourselves whilst raising a collective set of eyebrows at what has to be the front runner for dumbest news story coming out of Canada. Now, if you're watching, I want you to feast your eyes on a picture for a moment. Chris, throw it up there. There you go. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Look at that. Based on the advanced decay on display here, the Toronto police have obviously dredged up a gun from the bottom of a lake where it's no doubt been residing for decades since a 40s gangster who last used it dropped it off the side of the boat. You could be forgiving for we'll forgive you for assuming that this rusted out ghost of what once must have been a gun is just that. It's a phantasm of days gone by. But you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. The Toronto police want all of Canada, you and the rest of the world, to know that their otherwise none too successful gun seizure program has appropriated this violent weapon and is keeping it, and I quote, off the streets. Now, anyone who's ever been in a room of a house down the street from another house with a room containing a man who once knew someone who owned a gun knows that the only danger that this thing possesses of being, quote, on the streets is that it might puncture a tire if you drive over it. Now, this thing doesn't even look like you could use it as a hammer for more than a stroke or two before it just shattered into 1,000 pieces. And folks, you better believe the Twitterverse just went wild with this one. I mean, the tweets were hilarious, and it just proves that social media is only 99.999% useless. There were comments of, off the streets of where? Atlantis? Or streets of Toronto are now safe from tetanus. Folks, look, it's silly. I mean, at this point, the Toronto police would actually be more effective at the job they're trying to do if they started confiscating water guns. And hey, maybe that's what's next. Now, look, I don't have to mine too deeply into the cave of bad ideas that started all this, but you know how I like to think these things through as a form of practice for critical thinking and analysis. Canada has, in pretty short order, decided to become the shining example to us and the rest of the world just exactly how bad an idea it is to allow socialist ideology to overtake your government and spread, just spread its tendrils into everything. Justin Trudeau, for example, came off as a nice young pretty boy when he first came to public prominence. But increasingly, he's showing off the communist DNA, which he almost certainly shares with his biological father, Fidel Castro, allegedly. It probably is bio dad. He looks like him. Don't cancel me, folks. I didn't really say that. Don't believe your eyes. These are not the droids you were looking for. The reason that so-called guns like this one are being taken, quote, off the streets is a nefarious one. No matter how funny it is when it's just put into practice, then touted as in the most idiotic of ways. But thank God there are still enough of us in the United States who realize that an armed society is necessary. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Because if not, one of these days, the police might actually dredge up all those guns I lost in my boating accident I had recently. And they want to keep those guns, quote, off the street as well. I love you. God bless.